What's up, everyone? My name's Lisa, for those of you that do not know. So I was moved to make a video today. Well, actually a couple of videos. So I'm going to make this one, and then I'm going to do probably a reading, like card reading after. But so this morning in my, I have a normal routine that I do every morning. And anyway, so during that meditation and stuff, I started, what came up was when I was, being a single parent, okay? So this, you may resonate if you're a single parent, but I feel like the message is really for anybody who's drawn to this, okay? So there's something in here, and it has to do with being, and there's like my phone just went off, so I always take that as like my confirmation. And so anyway, resentment, because as this year is closing out, not only are we moving away from relationships that don't work, but it's also mindsets, maybe jobs, okay, just the way that we deal with emotions, just anything that's kind of held us down and held us back. It's coming up to be purged and released, right? Because 2025 is like about truly being alive, right? And anyway, so as what came up for me this morning was, I remember asking people for help in the beginning when I was, when my son was like under, 4 years old, and it was overwhelming. I was new in sobriety, and so I always tell my son, like, we got to grow up together, and I feel bad for him because he got to see me in the beginning of sobriety, where I was just like freaking out, right? And so my daughter has been less affected, but my son, saw me just like really going through it, and but we've also got to grow together, So anyway, I remember asking people for help, and these were people that I had an expectation of being able to count on, and what I was met with was not what I anticipated. And it was some things I heard were, you chose to be a single parent, this is on you. You chose to live so far away, so it's on you. So people were very unwilling to offer assistance. So what I did was, I was like, okay, they're right, because for me, sobriety, like staying sober, has been about like ownership, right, and taking responsibility for myself. And I was like, okay, they're not wrong. Like, I did make these decisions, and so it's on me, right? So that led me to stop asking for help, okay, and at least in regards to the people that I ask, because I only ask once, right? I'm not like going to beg, all right? I've never been that way. And so anyway, so it was very overwhelming. And I'm not going to say I didn't get pissed, because I did. I was angry. And I feel like part of that anger kept me going, this, and it wasn't so much of it was a resentment, but I wasn't really fully embracing. I didn't really realize how deep it went until, much later on, but because what I realized, or what I saw was, or what I had to accept, was that people I know that I would be there for weren't willing to be there for me in the same way, because I know if they had been in that circumstance, I would have showed up, right? And like, no matter fucking what, because that's who I am. And So really early on, I just was like, my idea of what people were or who people were and my expectations did not equal reality. Okay, so I got this awareness. Okay, so, and it was not easy to embrace. It has not been easy to embrace. And what I didn't realize was that it's like continued to kind of like eat at me, right? And you know, the lack of assistance. But again, you know, I stand by my decision that, you know, nobody owes me anything, you know, but it still doesn't take away the fact that I'm human, right? We're all human. So we all have these human expectations and these human needs and desires, right? And when those expectations aren't met, what right or wrong, you know, it hurts, right? So anyway, forgiveness comes towards others as I step more into, and I only talk about me because I don't like to shake my finger at you and say, this is how you should feel, or this is what you're feeling, or this is what you should do. You know, certain things are put on my heart to share, and I feel like it's just to express my experience, right? It's because, you know, I feel like it's important to hear different perspectives on different situations, and it's helped me understand the other side. It's helped me even understand myself to hear different perspectives. So that's why I share it, you know, in hopes, like sometimes like things have to be broken down very like at an elementary level for me. You know, like I like to keep things real fucking simple, right? And a lot of times, like when I'm listening to other people, it gets like just too much, you know. But the bottom line is what I've had to, like, this is, I'm getting down to the nitty gritty, to the way that I understand it, and maybe this will help others, you know, that I've had to step more and more into the awareness that, you know, people are people. We're all in the same fucking boat. Everybody's living and learning, all right? Some people are more aware of this than others. And that doesn't make either one of us better or worse than the other one, right? It's just, it is what it is. Like, that's the bottom line. It's just like, that's the way it is. That's fucking life, right? And so compassion, you know, does it mean, because when I think of these people still to this day, like, even if those people called me up and they needed me, I would be there. I know I would be there. Will I ever call them for help ever again? Never, you know. But I know who I am, and that's the only way that I know to show up, is to be myself, to be who I am 100% all the fucking time, you know. And it's been a lot to step into that, right? And it's still like it's a lot easier to not say what I truly mean. It would be a lot easier to say things that would comfort somebody else, right? To and sacrifice myself, right? Like, sacrifice my own well-being, you know, so that I can, like, have somebody else feel less insecure or less bad, but about what they're doing or how they're hurting me or whatever. But it's like, as I've grown and continue to heal my inside and insides, and develop a deeper love of myself, and deepen my relationship, with God, the universe, because I've been brought to this place where I do have an understanding that we are all one, and I'm just thinking of like how to word this in a way, because right or wrong, it's the way I feel, right? And so I have learned to have compassion, more compassion for others. I understand that just because I might not invite everybody over for dinner or to hang out in my house or even hang out with me, like that's okay, but it doesn't mean that I treat people like crap, that's what I've learned. It's like, no matter what, I've got to show up as who I am and the woman that I want to be, like, no matter what, under any circumstance, like, and it doesn't mean that I tolerate bullshit, because if I self-sacrifice there and don't stand up for myself when I'm treated poorly or disrespected, like, that's exactly what I feel. It's like a betrayal to myself, right? And I do feel like part of this whole, part of our growing as humans, it has less to do with material gain and more to do with love. And it starts with love of self. And it's not love of self in this like selfish, disrespecting way towards others. It's love of self in a way that teaches others how, like, it shows others how to love themselves. It's not my job to change anyone. It's my job to show up as the woman that I want to be. And for me, what that means is to continue to look at myself, like, on a daily basis, go over what's happening. Usually if I'm uncomfortable, or if I'm about to do something or say something that goes against, my morals, like, I know instantly, like, and so I have to pause in those moments. And I have, learned to do that over the years. I mean, I've been practicing this stuff for, since I got sober, which it's almost been like, it's been over 20 years. It's coming up on 23 years, I mean, that's a lot of practice. But I know that there are a lot of human beings opening up to a deeper understanding of the universe and of God and just of universal love, and it's opening up to themselves. And, I feel like part of the reason why I'm moved to share about my experiences are because I do represent just like someone that is just like everybody else, like there's nothing, like I'm just another person. Like I'm not what I have and what I talk about is not unattainable. Like, this is just like stuff that if you implement, some of these things or all of these things in your daily life, like, your life will improve. The way that you see yourself will improve. The way that you handle life and deal with others will improve. And I have that to say, like, for a fact, because of the way that my life has improved. I do believe that God wants us all to be materially, like, have whatever it is that we want, but everybody has different wants. And I'm just a believer that there is enough for everybody. There really isn't a reason to be jealous or envious of anything that anybody else has, because if you want it, then, like, just go fucking get it, like, on it, go towards it, you know? So yeah, look, see, time to go. It's like, go after that, like take the risk and freaking open the door, you know, chase it. We are being led to a path where it's actually like a split in the road where, you know, where we're at, you know, it's okay. What we're doing, it's okay. It's fine. Like it's great. I feel like there's, it's beautiful to accept and be grateful for where you are in the moment, right? Because in the moment is really all we have, right? But dare to dream, like dare to dream really fucking big dreams for yourself, you know? And I'm not just talking materially. You know, when I think about the things that I want, you know, it goes way beyond material things, right? There are material things that I want, but it's like, I know that I am happy and content with who I am. Like, even if I never earn more than what I'm earning right now, you know what I'm saying? So for me, I feel like that is a gift, because there's a lot of people that struggle on a daily basis to compete with like Tom, Dick, and Harry, and like none of that shit. That doesn't fucking matter to me, you know? And it's not that I wouldn't, like, it would be nice to drive like a brand new car and all that kind of stuff, but my fucking car works great, man. I love my car, you know? And nobody owes you anything. Nobody owes me anything. And I like it that way, you know? I've learned, I see these things. I watch all kinds of stuff, right? I watch like spiritual people speaking about spiritual things and dealing with trauma and like different responses, like through the spiritual views. Like there's many different speakers on these things, and then I also listen to many different doctors of psychology and psychotherapy and all this stuff like on YouTube as well, you know, to get that perspective. I read a lot of books, and it's really fascinating. The mind is a very fascinating thing, but so is the ego, right? And that is something, you know, I read in a book called Alcoholics Anonymous. And if you don't have that book, you should definitely get that book, because I feel like it's a book that can help more than just people that suffer from the disease of alcoholism. You know, it's got so many, you know, it helped me. Like that's how I started to really begin to dive deeper into who I was and to begin to take responsibility, is like through the words in that book, right? And so, but there's a line in that book, and it says that our egos are out to kill us, you know? And I always think about that. Like whenever I have taken like a really humiliating fall from whatever stool I may feel like I'm sitting on, right? And that's what helps me lean into looking for my lesson, because I don't want to die. You know, since putting down drugs and alcohol, like I've got a lot to live for, and yeah, it gets me choked up, because I'm already more than what I ever thought I could be, and to continue to have the willingness to want to be better, and to continue to look at myself, and to continue to work on myself, and to continue to put my relationship with God as my priority number one, is like, it's really mind-blowing, you know? And I just have a lot of gratitude, and I tell you guys all the time, gratitude is magic. And if you can think about what you're grateful for every single day. You know, and on the days when I'm feeling like really low and like, you know, having a bad attitude, or I want to have a bad attitude, because I'm just not a believer in like taking that shit out on anybody else, right? If I'm having a bad day, most of the time people don't know that, right? Because I always show up with a smile. I'm there to do my job. Like I go to work, I do my shit, you know, I go home. Like I don't take my shit out on people. Like it's nobody else's fault. And, but gratitude helps. There are some days where I need to write it out physically to add to, you know, my change of perspective, because, you know, I'm human just as anybody else, and I can get stuck, right? So I'm grateful to also have people that are in my life that can call me on my shit, you know, and that I listen to, you know. So that's also important, you know, to have people like that. And sometimes it's my kids, you know, and I listen to my kids, and, you know, and when they're telling me I'm being an asshole, or sometimes they'll even tell me, they're saying, you're being super manipulative right now, Mom. And like I gotta, like, I stop and I think about my behavior, and or I think about what I'm saying, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can see why they say that. Or most of the time I can see why they say that, you know. And so I have to correct the way that I say something, or ask them to do something. And, you know, because different actions that have been like embedded in you since whenever, those things don't change overnight, okay? But as this year continues and the closeout of the year continues, things like this are going to continue to be popping up into our faces, right? So go easy on yourself. So this is also what's coming up, is that, you know, continue to take care of yourself, you know, nurture yourself in whatever way that is, whether that's like, you know, cleaning up your diet, or exercising, or getting a haircut, or whatever the hell it is. Okay. Just, you know, I'm seeing the numbers 1, 2, 3. It's like, and there's my phone again, like baby steps, and just doing it one step at a time, you know, and even if you take steps backwards, like, it's okay. Just, you know, put on your big girl pants, big boy pants, and just freaking stand up and do it again. You know, no harm, no foul. Yeah, that's what I heard. So I don't know. I feel like this is done now, but yeah, that's what I was moved to share about, and I hope it makes sense. I love you guys, and I will see you soon. Oh, look out for my card reading, because I'm going to do that now. All right.